Industries. Officially episode 194. It's April 10th, 2014. We've got a packed house of great entertainment, information, and important things that everybody should know about. We're calling the show The Plan for Legalization 2014 and Hash Bash 43 reviewed. I know that we've got our esteemed guests on who are in the queue, and we're going to get right to you. But before we do that, I just want to say this one thing that we'd like to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
And with that being said, the one and only Rick Thompson with the news.
Thanks. That intro never gets old. I'm Rick Thompson. This is the news. It's April 10th, 2014. Let's talk about a couple polls that just came out this week. By the way, obviously the big news is Hash Bash and the Monroe Street Fair that just happened, and that'll take up a considerable portion of what we'll be talking about later on. But another poll shows overwhelming support for medical marijuana in Michigan. MLive is conducting an online poll titled, Should Marijuana Be Legalized? The questions posed include, the question involves, would marijuana be better legalized, or would hemp be better, or should we continue with the regular prohibition? 87% agree that marijuana should be legalized. A more significant poll, however, is out from public policy polling. It reveals Michigan citizen support of medical marijuana is increasing too. They ask a question, do you think marijuana should be legally allowed for medical purposes with the approval of a doctor? 70% said yes, they think it should. 25% said they think it should not be allowed. And only 6% were not sure. However, when asked this question, do you think marijuana should be legally allowed for recreational use, that stores should be allowed to sell it, and that its sales should be taxed and regulated similarly to alcohol? Only 45% said think they should. 48% said it should not be that way, and 7% were unsure. So the tax and regulate question from the very well-respected public policy polling firm was 48% against and 45% for. Now, a former businessman and medical marijuana advocate, friend of this show, Steve Sharp, is hosting a free documentary focusing on the industrial hemp industry. The film's entitled Bringing It Home. It plays at 3:30 Thursday, April 10th at the Michigan Theater. That's on Mechanic Street in downtown Jackson, and it'll be presented by Steve Sharp. Of course, the documentary features a father and his search to find the healthiest building material to construct a home for himself and his daughter, who has a rare disease and was having reactions to their living environment. Steve Sharp has, of course, spoken before the Jackson County Board of Commissioners, as the Jackson City Council, the Michigan Legislature, and various representatives about the future possibilities of growing hemp in the county and statewide. Reporter Deborah Borchardt of the financial newsletter The Street says the marijuana industry may have already added over 175,000 jobs, and that's just the beginning. Now, she arrives at that figure by computing the numbers of caregivers, dispensaries, businesses, and construction industries affected by marijuana legalization and medical marijuana, and that information is provided by various state and local law enforcement agencies. Now, roughly 168,000 jobs can be associated directly with the marijuana businesses, and another 7,000 for these from publicly traded companies, bringing the industry up to 175,000 jobs. She claims that some of the jobs can be high-paying, like $250,000 a year for a grow master. Chad, that's what you get, right? And $75,000 a year for a bud trimmer, which is tough to do if you're making $10 an hour. It has also created a career path for many Americans that may have felt they weren't alternative job opportunities for them. For example, I'm sure you don't have to pass a urine test to be a bud trimmer. Hopefully, states will begin keeping statistics as they realize how much this job force is growing, because all statistics point to it being higher than they thought. A quick note, Legalize Marquette. We're going to talk about local ballot initiatives this evening. Legalize Marquette is in the news now, saying that they would like to make the city of Marquette to make possession of 2 1/2 ounces of marijuana or less a civil infraction instead of a crime, with a $100 fine, similar to a parking ticket. Now, that would be 2 1/2 ounces. They chose that number because that's the amount of Michigan's medical marijuana allows licensed patients to possess. Although Marquette Mayor Bob Nemi says that while legalized Marquette has attended city commission meetings, the group has not made a formal request that the city commission take action. We're a local government, he said. There's a state government and a federal government. The primacy of their laws trump our laws generally, and I think it's an issue that should be addressed on the state level. And finally, a 47-year-old Adrian man gives up his 18-month legal battle over a backyard marijuana grow. He pleads guilty to a reduced criminal charge, a felony marijuana manufacture, and firearms charges were both dismissed after the gentleman pled guilty in Lenawee County Circuit Court to a misdemeanor marijuana possession charge, sentenced to 2 years probation, and his conviction could be erased if he successfully completes a program. He reluctantly conceded the grow operation did not conform to Michigan's medical marijuana regulations, even though he's a registered marijuana patient, and he had 19 plants in his backyard, and it was secured, it was fenced, and protected by 3 Rottweiler dogs. You know why he wasn't in compliance? Because the plants were leaning up against the neighbor's fence, and anything could be picked from the adjoining property without entering the defendant's backyard. If you're growing marijuana in your backyard, guys, please make sure it doesn't overgrow your fence line. And with that, or the neighbor's yard. With that, we'll complete the news. I'm Rick Thompson. It's, what is it, April? April 10th? Yes. See? April 10th, 2014. It's the news. Thanks for listening.
Okay.